Hello, y'all. Welcome to another episode, Real Talk with Shawn Smith. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Black Community Talk Edition, and this is part two. I have a guest. He's a content creator, and he's going to introduce himself.
So my name is Josh Conley, and I say a lot of controversial stuff. Um, so that's the short answer for it. But now I'm ready. Let's get into it.
Yeah, man. So, what really inspired you to do content?
Um, I mean, I remember being in high school, and I wasn't like too privy on like politics and current events and stuff like that. But I had this one teacher, and he was like my geography teacher, so we supposed to talk about like maps and stuff. And every 2 seconds, we had some downtime. He's talking about how much he can't stand this politician or that. So it piqued my interest. And as I got a little bit more informed on stuff, it's just a bunch of stuff that I saw that I didn't like from all sides of it. So, and at that point, I caught myself talking to myself for like 2 hours and then talking to somebody else, talking their ear off for like 3 hours about everything that was pissing me off in the world. So I'm like, I might as well just do something. And I didn't anticipate like ever being like serious about it. And at this point, it's still just something enjoyable for me. I enjoy studying this stuff and
Yeah,
whatnot. But I mean, a couple things happened. One thing led to another, and we're here now. So like I said, I have a lot of controversial things that I say. Not so popular.
yeah,
I've had people who have distanced themselves, and I get it. It's not
yeah.
sexy to be around certain opinions or whatever. But I believe it all, so I feel right in saying it. So I think I'm gonna just go from here and take off with it. So
Yeah, and that's very important because we as blacks, we've been taught to think the same way, and that's very sad. We can't think a certain way. You
yeah,
know, we was taught to vote Democrat because the other party was bad and all that. Then white people and all that, they put us to slavery and all that. They still had that mindset mentality, and we should not be having that mindset. We
yeah,
should be moving on in the world, and that's very sad. You know, I don't know why we had to have that mindset. We had to have our own thing, selfish this, selfish schools and all that, and then selfish, what is selfish churches and all that.
hmm,
Just and that's not good. That's idolatry. We be worshiping our skin color and all that. That's
yeah,
idolatry. And then we always want to take up with everything, take up with something that's black, like our favorite black celebrities and
mhm,
all that. We can't call them out, but when somebody white of other ways call them out, they call them racist.
yeah,
But they don't want to be, we don't want to held ourselves accountable. If a black person think a different way, then they be like, "Oh, you not black. We gonna take your black card away. You on Uncle Tom because you want to think different. You want to vote a different way.
yeah,
You have a different mindset. You don't want to be in that mindset forever. That will keep you. That will hold you back all your life."
yeah. Straight up, I feel you. I always preface it before I talk because I know how I can come off. Is I love black people. I'm black myself, so I want to see this community thrive. But when I look at a bunch of different areas, we lack so much, and we've been doing the same thing for decades, and
Hmm.
nothing has changed or nothing. I feel like a lot has just gotten worse, and
Yeah,
I think that it just would make more sense to try something new. So I'm not saying go rogue just for the sake of being different, but try something different to get a different
yeah,
result. When I look at education, health, economics, we're last or second to last in almost everything, and I don't like that. And I think that a
yeah,
lot of politicians, media, I think that they tend to coddle black people
Yeah.
because of what black people have been through. So they don't want to
Yeah.
say the hard truths because they don't want to risk being offensive or hurting
Yeah.
somebody's feelings. Because I'm black, I don't feel like I have that red tape. Like if I was white, I would feel weird to do it because then as soon as I open my mouth, people can say I'm racist. But
Yeah.
because I'm black, people can just they can say whatever they want. But at the same time,
Yeah.
I think that it might not hold the same weight. So I feel as though I'm in a unique position. And I've had a conversation with somebody before where it's like, well, why don't I highlight all of the issues within like the white community? And
Yeah.
number one, I am black, so that's where my main focus is. But number two, if you look everywhere, TV, the media, it's just one big spotlight on what they believe is wrong with white people. I don't think that is necessary to have another person take up that mantle. I think there's a very small percentage of people who dive into the issues within the black community because they're so scared to do it. I don't share
Yeah.
that fear, so I think it's important that I talk about it just because I don't want to see the trajectory of this community continue to go where it's been going. So
Yeah, because don't you feel that the music that we listen to and the shows that we watch affect us as a community?
100%, yeah. Culture is a big thing, and we don't want to admit it because it's what we like. But at the same time, if we don't look in the mirror, then nothing's gonna change. So if there's a high percentage of black kids who grow up without a father, and then their
Yeah.
attention turns to movies and actresses and actors and musicians, all of whom are portraying a lifestyle that they probably don't even live. Like
Yeah.
someone's favorite rapper lives in a gated community with a bunch of white people. They're not outside in the streets shooting at
No.
people or selling drugs anymore, but they're still putting that out because it sells. And a bunch of
Yeah.
vulnerable black kids who don't have good influences around them, they're going to take that and run with it. And then they're going to go into that world and it's just going to recycle. And for a lot of these rappers and music stars or whatever, I mean, I'm not going to sit up here on a high horse. I like them. I listen to them sometimes, but at the same time, I know the reality of their lives is most of them don't live past a certain age, and that's a problem. Oh boy, is that mine? I wish it would tell me. If it was me.
So we good. We
We
good.
good? Okay,
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, that is very sad. We let the media influence us.
Yeah,
Like these basketball players, they be talking about how bad it is, and guess what? They stay in the white neighborhood and all that and get paid millions of dollars and all that. Like LeBron James, he always be talking about how impressed black people are, but look at him, shoot. And then
exactly.
people got mad. People got mad because one of the Fox News anchor Laura told him to shut up and dribble. I'm like, I agree with her on that.
I remember that. I remember that. I definitely love it when, especially athletes now, I love it when they have their own platforms and they talk about this stuff. And even if I disagree, I think it's healthy. But at the same time, somebody like LeBron, and I love LeBron James, but the way he and a lot of other high profile black people talk, I don't like it because the idea is that this super rich and famous and
Yeah,
successful black figure is regurgitating this idea that black people are victims and that they're being held down.
yeah.
And for
Being
me, I'm a
used,
big
yeah,
mindset guy. So I think I can do anything and I don't necessarily care what the field looks like. I think that most black people they lack a certain belief and not necessarily because of their own doing is the influences around them are telling them that they can't do something because a white person's holding them
yeah,
down or they can't achieve any type of financial or career success because the system
yeah,
is against them. I don't believe that for a second. And I'm not ignorant to like the history of this country. I know that there was racism and slavery and laws that prohibited black people from doing certain things. But because almost 90. I don't want to put a number on it, but a lot of that does not exist today. Uh,
Yeah.
I feel as though most black people are prisoners of their past. You can be a product of it. We're all products of our past, but you don't have to be a prisoner of it. You can choose
Mhm.
to move on if you want to. But we kind of reside in victimville a lot, and it's comfortable because we can say whatever we want. Because we pose as victims, we can then go on TV or make videos talking about how much we don't like white people and people cheer us on. I just don't subscribe to that. So that's why I say the stuff that I do.
We good. Eventually, we gonna do this in person next year.
We getting through it. We getting through it.
Yeah, we gonna do part two, well,
Yeah,
part three in person next year for season two. So
I'm down. I'm down.
yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that we got a lot of like victim mentality in the black community, and
Yeah, we sure do.
yeah, and like I said, I think I can do anything. So, and I just want everyone else to feel that too. And that doesn't mean everything is gonna go right for you, but I just don't like when high profile black people who have achieved a lot then tell other black people who might be going through it that they're victims or that they're
Mm,
being held down by the white man. That's crazy to me because if you think that, then that's how you're gonna live. And
yeah,
if you live like that, that's how you're gonna vote. That's how you're gonna talk to other people. That just
yeah.
creates a real bad cycle, and that's not something that I subscribe to. So that's why I say the stuff that I say.
Yeah, I just don't. What is it? Why does our people have a problem doing their research, especially on a party? They really think that the Democrat Party is for us, and they think that their politician is for us because they black and all that. They gonna go with them, but they
Yeah,
have not did any research and all that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they definitely got the vote on lock. I mean, Hillary Clinton in 2016 pulled out a bottle of hot sauce and was like, "I carry hot sauce around. Vote for me." And then Joe Biden told a black man to his face that if you don't vote for me, then you're not black. And they just seem to be
Well,
cool with that. And
oh, Joe Biden, did you see him went to a black family household and fed them fried chicken?
crazy. I'm like this. That if that's all they have to do to get the vote, then there's something extremely wrong with what we got going on. There's something very wrong, and that's my problem. It's not that I necessarily associate with a certain party, but at the same time, I don't I don't like at all the pandering that goes on with that party because very little of what they do is say we understand what this community is going through and this is a tangible way of how we're going to address it. It's do you want fried chicken? I carry hot sauce. You should know to vote for me just because you're black. I'm gonna talk in a certain accent so that you think that I'm blacker than what I am. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go to a black church even though I haven't been to church since I was 6. Like doing all these things is like this is not this not gonna help at all. And that's something
yeah,
that I'm not down with. And when I was in my undergrad, I did an internship where I was working with politicians. So I saw this like firsthand is these people, I'm not saying they don't work hard or that they don't do anything, but there's so much more that they could be doing that they just choose not to because they know they don't have to. Is all they have to do is the bare minimum, and once they get elected, they're in there for 4 to 6 to 8 years,
yeah,
and it's not easy to like get someone out of office or impeach them or whatever. So you're stuck with them, and that's all they care about, and that's not something
yeah.
I'm down with. So that's kind of why I am the way I am now.
Yeah, and it's very sad. And a lot of people keep on saying, Kamala Harris is black, black this and black that. She went to a HBCU college and she was part of a sorority, aka my sisters, my brothers and sisters and all that. Oh, I clean my greens in the bathtub. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, I'm
like
not
that's crazy.
buying it.
Yeah, like that's
At
crazy.
first. Because back in 2020, I did have that mindset. I voted Democrat because of what my family told me, because of what my aunt told me. She's saying to vote Democrats because they offer those programs for black people. And
Yeah,
I listened to her, and guess what? I woke up in 2021, and I'm like, I need to do my own research. Because
yeah,
at first I hated Kansas Owens, and two, I actually like took out the time to watch her videos and all that. She woke me up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna
mhm,
do my research and go with this party
yeah,
because this party the one free slaves and all that. But people did not do their research, you know.
yeah,
People think that the Democrat Party was all for the black people, but they had not did their research. And then Obama, they think that Obama had did too. Obama did not do nothing for the
yeah.
for the black community. He been in the office for 8 years. He did not do nothing for us.
Yeah. I mean, he was more of a symbolic like figure. It's like he's the first black president, so that's gonna take center stage over any policy or anything like that. And it is historic to become the first black president, but I'm not gonna vote for you because of that. So like
Yeah,
this election, the idea that you're supposed to vote for Kamala because she's a black woman, or
yeah,
that's what they're saying. I don't subscribe to that at all. Because if she's not gonna go in there and do her job, I don't care if she. I don't care what her color is. I don't care what her gender is. I don't care what her ethnicity is. I'm trying to vote for someone who's gonna get in there and do the job. And the crazy thing about it is that she like became the most popular Democratic figure overnight after they overthrew Joe Biden. And I sat
hmm
there and I'm like, well, in 2020, she was a part of the primary and she dropped out after the first debate. So the
yeah,
party had the chance to elect the first woman of color to be the president, and they still chose to go with the old white man. So that shows
yeah,
her level of popularity, and it was not
yeah,
here; it was here. So the
yeah,
fact that now, just because her opponent is Donald Trump, that people have like done a 180, and now all of a sudden they love her and think that she's the greatest politician ever. I'm like,
yeah,
that's crazy. If y'all thought she was so good, why didn't you vote for her in 2020? And it's very, very simple. It's people were not game for it then, and they really weren't game for it now. They just didn't want him, man. I'm not voting that way, so I'm never gonna subscribe to that. I do not care what the skin color is. I think
mm,
it's cool that Obama got that distinction of first black president, but
yeah,
outside of that, if you're not helping people, if you're not passing policy that addresses issues economically, uh,
yeah.
across seas in terms of wars, I could care less, and that's just how I'm gonna be probably for the rest of my life. So
Yeah, man, it's tough. And then you have family and friends and all that. They be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna talk to you because you did both this way
yeah,
and that way." And boy, I tell you, a lot of people unfollow me. Even some people that went to school with me
oh yeah,
unfollow me.
oh yeah,
They all, they in these black sororities and fraternities and all that. They all about social justice and all that. Black Lives Matter and all that. The
yeah,
white man cannot get us and all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And the police, all cops is bad and all that. And like, it's that different mindset.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel you. Yeah, I didn't have people distance themselves from me, and I think part of the reason I do what I do now is but the meaning behind it for me has changed. Is it's not popular to have these types of opinions, and especially if you are black or a minority, period, it's not
Mm,
popular. And at times it can feel hard to want to keep believing what you believe because you don't want to be on the outside of everything.
yeah,
But at the same time, I mean, I've had a lot of conversations like this over the past like year or two that I've been like real serious about studying this stuff. It's a lot of people who are in this same situation, who have unpopular opinions and who don't want to express them because of fear of being persecuted in the court of public
yeah,
opinion. So when I speak, I'm not just trying to like just say what I think is gonna be the most attention grabbing like clip of my entire life is I genuinely believe what I say, and I have to push past how I feel about it because I know it's a
Yeah,
bunch of other people who feel like this, but they don't feel comfortable expressing that. And I think having people be in that role is important because it's not a lot. It's not a lot of people, especially black people, who have amassed a certain level of notoriety to the point where they can make other people feel comfortable about having certain opinions. And I think that that's
yeah.
important. I know a couple, and they've been inspirations to myself, but it's not a whole lot at all. So,
No, it's unfortunate. It's not. It's the unfortunate. It's a whole bunch of black people with the same mindset. Then they had this group, what
yeah,
they call NAACP. I forgot
yeah.
NWCP. I forgot the name of that organization. Social justice.
NAACP, I think it is.
Yeah, uh-huh. But I forgot the name because I used to be a part of it, and the Lord told me to remove myself from it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, it's. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a lot of tribalism, and I don't think that that's like productive because we don't like it when people do it to us. We don't like it if there's white only groups, or we don't like it if
Mm-hmm.
white people say they don't like this or that, and rightly so. I don't think that that standoffish type behavior is good. It obviously didn't work 100 years ago or 400 years ago because it resulted in what it did. So I don't think that we're doing ourselves any favors by trying to return the favor by playing this tit for tat deal of, well, y'all did it, so now we're gonna do it. I'm not down with that. So. Oh boy, is it still going? Okay.
Okay, we good.
Yeah, I agree. That was a longer stint. We good though.
But yeah, it's sad. Black onlyness, black college, black dorms and all that, black high schools and all that, and
Yeah, that's just going
BT.
backwards.
Yeah, they is going black. And even though I love, but if it's good, some stuff black is good. I would say like gospel music. I love gospel music. I think that's the
Yeah,
positive thing for, black people. But as far as hip hop music, now dancing, dancing, and cussing, now look who is our role model now in the black community. Sexy Red and Gorilla and making my style. I'm like, I was like, the Lord told me you don't need to be listening to that music no more.
yeah,
Yeah, that music is demonic. Like,
yeah, yeah. We ain't got none, and it's ironic because I look into this stuff real deep, and when I'm like for instance, like music artists. It's so ironic when black people talk about how the white man is holding us down. If you look at who owns a lot of these record labels, it's white people. So like you're paying money to go to these concerts or you're like buying these albums. And I'm not gonna sit up on a high horse. I listen to some of it and I get it. It can kind of suck you in. And I'm not saying that this is the only genre of music that preaches like a bad message, but it's the most prominent one. So if you're giving so much of your money and your time and so much of yourself to this stuff, the irony is that a lot of these record labels that give the okay for this rapper to talk about how he just killed somebody's mom or how he just shot
mm,
somebody who he was beefing with, they're owned by white men. You go to the
mm,
most prominent record labels. So the irony is that the white man is holding us down, yet we give so much of our time, money, and resources to the white man. When it comes to clothes, I will never understand the desire to buy like the most expensive brand names ever. Because if you look at brands like Marc Jacobs, all it is like a T-shirt with his name on it. But
yeah,
he has rappers and athletes, black rappers and athletes, modeling like these clothes and showing it off to our audience. And for black people, I believe the number is it's either like a billion or a trillion that we spend on goods and services collectively as a community every single year, despite the fact that our median income is like at the bottom when we stack up against other races. So we spend so much money and a lot of it we don't have. Marc Jacobs is a white man. A lot
Mm.
of the major like clothing labels and clothing brands that have like a $400 price tag for the most basic shirt, they're owned by white people. And no hate to those white people. If you built the business and that's cool, but they're gonna market to who spends the most money, and that's us. So if they get Lil Durk and dress him up in their clothes, and he
Ooh,
does a campaign for it and shows it off to the target audience is us, and we spend all this money, how can you talk about the white man's holding you down when you're contributing to his
yeah,
pockets and to his vacation and to all this? I'm like that don't make no sense. So it's a lot of
yeah.
stuff, and you can go so deep into it. But I mean, I think deep about this stuff. So
Yeah, and that's very sad though. We always talk about, oh, this, we don't want to stay by them, they racist. Like my family, they had that mindset so much.
yeah,
That's why I'm like I'm so different from some of my family members because they always say, "Oh, the white men, they always want to hold us back. They keeping us from getting jobs. They keeping us from getting money from the bank and all that stuff." I'm like, y'all need to come on now. We in a different day in time.
yeah,
Y'all talking about white people being racist, but we is being racist by talking about them. Like, come
yeah,
on now. And then,
exactly.
ooh, the view. Don't get me started on the view. I don't eat hardly watch. I did watch it yesterday, and
Uh
boy,
huh.
they were so mad
Yeah, they
yesterday,
not happy.
especially Rippy Gover and
Yeah,
Sonny. It just, and I don't even watch it that much because I got tired of hearing them that different mindset.
yeah.
And here go Rippy Gover. She sat there talking about white people, but yet she was married to somebody white.
Exactly. Yeah, like they're they're hypocrites. Like I'm not. I never try to tell people who to vote for. Like people vote who they gonna vote for. But it's just so funny because uh, they all loved him. They all loved Donald Trump. They'd have him
Yeah,
on the show. They'd be talking. They'd just be shooting the stuff with him. And then as soon as he ran and said a bunch of stuff that they didn't like, they flipped on him like it was like they never knew him. So I'm like, these people are such hypocrites. But that's my favorite show. I love The View. I love it because it gives me so. It's like my favorite comedy. I love to laugh, and that show just gives it. They just give it all. That's my favorite show, hands down. I love The View.
yeah, I
Shout out to
used
The
to
View.
like it. And I would watch it sometime, but I'm just like these people, and they used to have good conservatives on there. But they had this lady on her, she not really speaking for the conservative movement.
Yeah.
Like Elizabeth Hasselbeck
Mhm.
and Megan McCain. Even though
Yeah.
Megan McCain was not that big on Donald Trump, but at
Yeah.
least she got stand on her conservative views and they could not get to it. She kept on going back and forth with them and I like that. You know, she was
Yeah.
not afraid to call them out.
Straight up. Yeah. I mean that the whole show now is just. I don't think they know what to do with themselves anymore. But at the same time, it's just how they operate is so unproductive because the one thing that I hear a lot from them is they try to assume they know why people vote for who they vote for. And that's probably one of my biggest pet peeves is like you're trying to shame someone for voting a certain way as if you know why they voted or what issues are most important to them. I'm like this. Everyone is so different, and we all have our own unique experiences. So if someone votes for him, it's probably for a specific reason that's important to them. And if somebody votes for her, it's the exact same thing. So
Yeah.
their whole shtick is like shaming people who don't see life from their perspective, and that's such a problem. So, but the reason why I wouldn't necessarily like I guess pledge allegiance to a certain party is because so many people have such unique experiences, and I'm included in that. So from issue to issue, I just look at who can deliver on those the best, and I just don't think that they have the decency to see it that way from other people's perspective. I think that they think everybody should think like them, and that's I'm so against that. It's not even funny. I think mine is still going.
Things we
I think we're
can you
good.
hear me?
I can hear you
Yeah.
now. We good now.
But yeah, it just and I mean it did a long time ago. It did not used to be like that.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
it
You
just
can't.
a clown's talk show. That's what it is.
100%. It's definitely changed, and I mean it's not good, but at the same time, I mean I get a good laugh out of it, so it's a fair trade off, I guess, for now. So,
Oh, especially Joy. What's her name? I forgot Joy's last name though.
yeah, it's something. It's something. I know you talking about though, but that woman needs to freaking relax. She needs to relax ASAP. Man,
This thing here true.
I carry you now. I carry you.
Yeah, Joy. Yeah, I forgot her name. I don't want to get her mixed up with that race lady off of MSBC.
I think that here.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. We gonna get through this one way or another.
Can you hear me? Oh, Jesus.
The time is still going now, so that's cool. But
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want to get her mixed up with, Joy Reid,
yeah,
her
yeah.
other race hustler.
Uh huh.
Man, Joy Reid, it just, she talking about white Christians and all that. I mean, where'd she get that from?
She need that woman needs to relax. I mean, she just, she probably got a lot going on, but she needs to just chill. Like they blow stuff out of proportion so much. Like I was watching the election, and I'm seeing these people crying, and I'm like y'all done had 4 years. Like it's cool if it didn't go your way, but like state and local politics, in my opinion, are so much more important. But
Mhm.
they're so distracted by the presidency. I'm there's a bunch of other stuff going on. Just relax. Like he was already president for 4 years. He didn't try to like take over the whole world. Like just
Mhm.
relax. We'll
But
be all
this
right.
is what people talking about January the 6th.
Yeah. Nah. It was bad, but at the same time, they're trying to treat it like it was 9/11, and it's not even close. It was a messed up situation. Um, but at the same time, it was 4 years ago. We've moved on. I think that a whole lot of other people have too. They're, they're they just want to cling on to that just because they have that in the bag. It was
Yeah.
bad, but it was 4 years ago. They're beating a dead horse at this point. I think it's just time for people to move on from that. So,
Yeah, it's time for move on. But it's that mindset, I tell you.
wonder if
Uh,
I'm blurry.
they ain't tripping. Can you
That
hear me now, dude?
yeah, I can hear you now.
I tell this thing, that's why I hate doing virtual sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I mean, we getting through it.
Yeah, Lord, yeah.
Yeah, we getting through
Jesus
it.
is real.
Yeah,
But yeah, they using that now to get people to like, oh, he's a bad person.
yeah.
You should vote for this party. If everybody vote for this party, she could win and all that. And then we could put her, he can lose and all. They know they was not gonna happen. So
I can hear you. Is It's slowly going along. It's slowly going along. Oh,
Yeah, I mean this nowadays I hate to, I don't wanna be, this
yeah,
day. What is it? I mean now we cannot if you offend you can't say he or she, but you
yeah.
now can say they.
Like that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so crazy, and I have so much empathy for people who are going through that. But there are so many politicians and pharmaceutical companies who are preying on kids or adults who might just be going through it, and instead of trying to offer like genuine assistance, they're trying to profit off of it with money and votes. I will never be cool with that, and I mean, I can go down that rabbit hole so much, but it's I just think it's a shame because nothing like this has ever happened before.
Yeah,
I think that this stuff just started happening recently over the past couple of decades, and instead of trying to like properly address it, people have just been egging it on. That's such a
yeah,
huge problem. But I mean, I understand the world that we live in, and everybody, for the most part, is for profit. They're gonna do what they got to do to make their money. So
yeah, and that's very sad. And I tell a couple of people about, I think when they start doing the welfare and civil rights, they had destroyed the black family. They
straight up,
kept the black father out of the household. And this is what they want. They want the black family to be married to the government, depend on the government. They
um,
want the mama to be single and they want the daddy to be a deadbeat daddy, black daddy, in the jail and all that. Well, he had 5 or 6 baby mamas and stuff. That is what's going on with the black
exactly.
community. But nobody don't want to address it. They accept the behavior. I had some family members like that accept that behavior. And like we been through the white men put us do this all that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it that's definitely 100% what's going on. It is like things like welfare, things like medication, stuff like that. Um, Especially for like mental like health concerns or whatever, something like gender dysphoria. These things are not promoted as this is trying to help you, and then you improve your quality of life so you can get off of it. They're promoted as this is a way of life. So if the government is trying to promote like welfare programs, they're not going to tell you use this for the next year or two and then get on your feet and then take off with your life. They say we want you, in fewer words, we want you to depend on us for the rest of your life. That's how we
Mm,
secure your vote. That's how we secure your support. And we want it to be unwavering. I don't like that at all. And I know that there's more white people in the country than black people, um, at least percentage wise. But black people 100% are the poster child for things like welfare programs, a hundred
mm,
percent. And I don't like it, not because they can't help, but that's not how they're promoted. And they know what they're doing. The governments, special interests, politicians, organizations, they know what they're doing. And even the so-called pro black organizations, they know what they're doing too. This country is so in the hole when it comes to finances, but then you mean to tell me that some social justice organization is going to come along and say donate so that we can, I guess, make people like you. So we're going to give you guys $100 million, and hopefully the black community gets better in 4 years. Well, $100 million went to this certain organization that I'm not going to name, but I feel like everybody knows. And 4 years later, the black community is worse off than what it was, and we're out
mm.
$100 million. So
Yeah,
I'm like, these people know 100% what it is that they're doing, and there's so very few black people who are willing to say anything about it because they don't want to get ousted. Like you said, they don't want to have their black card taken away.
yeah,
So they just kind of go along with it, and I feel as though I was at that stage before, but I'm not. I just don't I don't buy it anymore. I'm not down with it anymore.
yeah.
So I'm kind of over it, and I'm just saying what's ever on my mind at this point. So
Yeah, me, I'm all about that too, even though I get cancer. I've been
100%.
saying this on my podcast, and I even say Christ over black culture, and then somebody say, you is an Uncle Tom,
Yeah,
you racist against your own people and
yeah,
all that. Then I be talking about how the men's be getting up in the how they be talking bad about the men's in the media. This feminist movement that all men's is bad and all that. And I say something about that, and then somebody say I'm sexist and all that.
yeah.
I
It
don't know what women's go through all that.
it's never gonna end, and that's why I'm not saying I don't consider what other people say, because I think it contributes to like good conversation, but I don't let it keep me up at night anymore because I know what my intentions are. Is I love being black and I love the black community and I'm around black people all the time, so I think it'd be silly not to, even if you had some like negative feelings or whatever. Uh, but what I see is not it's not prosperous. And
No, it's
we've been
not.
doing the same thing. We've been blaming the same people. We've been feeling the same way.
Yeah.
And nothing for real has changed. Maybe a little bit has gotten better, but the overall picture is we're still lacking in so many areas. And if people don't, I mean, if they don't decide to do anything different, I don't know how we can confidently continue to blame white people or to still engage in the same activities and still like celebrate some aspects of our culture that are clearly detrimental. I just don't see that. So,
Yeah, that's unfortunate though. But yeah, I was just trying to see. So, hey, you a fan of Kansas Owens, right?
oh yeah, I think that she might have been the person who sparked my interest in kind of thinking like this and looking into like the realities of what actually goes on in our community. I feel like I saw her being bold and it helped me to kind of get out of my shell a little bit. So yeah, I think she's dope.
Yeah, and I also the other person I like, Officer Taylor. I
Yeah,
like him.
yeah, he's a cool
And
dude.
then, yeah, black conservative perspective. I like him too.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually met Officer Taylor in person though.
Are you did?
He had grow up in my old neighborhood, Stop Six. He went to Dunbar High School.
Ah, for real? That's what's up.
Yeah, he from Fort Worth, Texas, my
That,
old neighborhood.
that's for real. That's
So
that's a
one
cool
day
dude, right?
he, so one day he came to my college. One day and I took a picture with him. It was our first time meeting because I'm like, man, I'm a fan of yours. You woke me up too.
Yeah, yeah. That's a cool dude right there.
Yeah.
He
Uh
like
huh.
that. That's the type of people I like. I mean, I love everybody, but the people who just don't care anymore. They just say what they want to say, and say what they feel, say what they believe. They're not trying to be politically correct. That's the type of people that I mess with for real. So I think he's a cool dude.
Yeah, like this all short and all them Jesse Jackson, all them they still have that mindset saying, oh, they don't want us to do anything. Look at
Yeah,
them staying at expensive houses and all that.
exactly.
And sit there saying the white man hold us there. We can do a whole lot of stuff. We can overcome shoes.
Yeah,
We can own our own business and all that shoes. We don't
yeah,
have to like be tied to that mindset. We definitely need to get out of that mindset. But you have people they don't want to hear that. They think that coming after them, attack them. Then
exactly.
I
Yeah,
have
100%.
Yeah, and then I have a friend, a other friend. I was telling this friend of mine about. He was like, "Well, you responsible since you voted for him. You responsible of him winning all that, and he part of the KKK and all that, leaving us. You see his policy. He having us back. He wanted to put us in the suit line and all that." I say, did your brother voted for him too? He say, yeah, I'm getting on my brother by y'all think he has no Christian values. And I understand that he not, but still though he learned some more in my Christian beliefs, And people they don't understand that, even though people want to vote a different way and all that, I still respect them.
Yeah,
I had most of my family members, they vote a different way and they Christians and all that. But they need to respect me how I want to vote a different way too. I'm not the bad guy. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I feel you 100%. I mean, it's like I said, I used to feel that way, and then I was cool with somebody, uh and we were having a conversation, and she asked me who I voted for. This was 2020, so that was my first time ever voting because I wasn't old enough before that. So she asked me who I voted for. I told her, and we were cool for like 10 years, and she just cut it off right there. And I'm like, I I 100% don't think that I would ever act like that, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't lose sleep if that's how people roll. I'm like, more power to you. If that's what you feel like you got to do, then that's cool. But going forward, at least I'm gonna use this as an example to let other people know that, hey, I don't think that this is the best way to do it. We can disagree, and I definitely got a
mm,
couple people who I'm cool with, and which we disagree on everything, but we're still cool. I think that that's important because at the end of the day, I do not put my stock into politicians at all. Is I'm a DIY type of person. Is I'm gonna do it myself before I rely on any government official
yeah,
to do it for me, and I don't care what party they reside in. So I don't I don't live my life by who wins the presidential election. When Joe Biden won in 2020, I looked at it. I'm like, that's how it's gonna go, and I moved on with my life. Donald Trump just won last night or something like that. I looked at it. I'm like, that's what's up. It's time for me to just keep doing what I've been doing. So uh, I'm a vote. Obviously, I'm a participate, and I want certain politicians to win just because I think they do a better job. But man, you gotta do you because at the end of the day, these politicians they don't they don't know me. They don't know a whole lot of
yeah,
other people.
man,
So at the
oh,
same time,
yeah,
it's like I think it's crazy to give up on friendships or relationships because y'all don't see eye to eye on American politics. I get it. I get if we're like voting in some communist country or a dictatorship in which on one end you have someone who's like gonna I don't know try to imprison everybody of whom they don't agree with, and then on the other hand you got like someone who's trying to commit genocide. That I understand, but when we're talking about American politics, where a lot of what we disagree on is first world issues, I'm not giving up no friendship or no relationship for that. I think that's crazy.
yeah, and that's very sad though. And one thing is, Kamala Harris, Riley's and all that. What she had Beyonce. I love me some Beyonce,
Yeah.
but some stuff I had to disagree her on. I did not agree when she
Yeah.
did her speech, and I would call her out and all that. And then who has Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and all that? I'm like, why do she have to? I don't think she listen to rap music or R&B. That's what I think.
She said her favorite rapper was Tupac, and I love Tupac, but Tupac is not alive, so I don't know how. She was like her favorite rapper when she was a kid was Tupac. I'm like, I don't even think Tupac was alive when she was a kid, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe he was like around her age. I'm like that. You clearly are so out of touch, and you're just trying to pay. I love Tupac, but I'm not gonna be like I grew up on Tupac. Tupac died before I was even born, so I'm not gonna sit up here and say that. Like that's crazy to me. So I think that a lot of what her campaign was run off of was so out of touch, and I think having celebrities and music artists was like some last effort to try to like get people to believe that she is so cultured. I'm like you're doing yourself a disservice by trying too hard to get this type of vote. Just don't do it. Just run a clean campaign and you might have a chance. But I mean, she shot herself in the foot, and that's on her. So
Yeah, and then she been going to the churches and all that. These preachers and all they have her get then sit there preaching how they preach up in the black churches.
Oh,
Oh, hallelujah.
oh,
Yes, Lord, we should overcome. We come this far. And nobody told me that the road would be easy. I'm like, really? And me, I used to
yeah.
go to a black church. I go to a multiple culture church. So
Oh, I think it went out again.
that ain't just Jesus,
There we go.
Lord. Yeah, I
I think.
tell you this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
What you about to say?
No, I'm just saying we getting through it because I know it's it's skipping on us, but we getting through it.
Yeah, so yeah, it just like what she doing. She trying to get the black votes, and then by looking at Kansas Owens, she lied about her grandmama. That picture that she have in that book, her grandmama not lied. That's not even really her grandmama. She
Yeah,
used that picture. See, it's something about her. I'm just like this lady. She not being generous. She lying. Then she cannot answer any question on the interview. They asked her, so what can you do different from Joe Biden? She just kept on just talking in circles and circles, then laughing.
that laugh is crazy. She got the craziest laugh I've ever heard. That's
Bro, and
wild.
people on TikTok, they sit there like doing parody of her, making fun.
Yeah,
Say how she come when he won the election on Tuesday. She it was Wednesday morning, but she did come out and congratulate. Well, later on she
yeah,
did because she feared that she was not going to win. I knew she was not going to win. And
yeah,
people on here crying on the social media. Then you have a couple of these black celebrities like Jessica Roof and all that. She sat there crying. Yeah, all that. And I told her, God, in the comments, I say, God is in control.
yeah,
And she like, here she go, cause I don't know if she was talking to me directly or somebody, and she sent there saying, "Oh, I don't want y'all to be saying, don't come go out with that song, God in control. I don't want to hear that." See, that's that different mindset.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah. Hello?
I can hear you
You
now.
see? Yeah, and then you had those main leaders. What's his name? Woe and Martin. You heard about him?
Yeah. What happened? What happened with them?
Roland Martin, and him with his business mindset,
Hmm.
he pro-black and all that, and always, but yet he be attacking a black woman, calling them out their names.
Yeah.
I'm like, you pro-black and you calling a black woman out her name because she thinks different from you. And she independent, she not even Republican. And he sit there calling her out her name. I'm like, I used to support this dude and he's in the fraternity. And I'm like, I'm not supporting this dude. Sure, I was gonna join a fraternity.
Yeah.
And the Lord told me not to. And plus, half of those guys, they don't like me anyway. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to spend my money on no
Yeah.
fraternity, a
Exactly.
bit of mindset fraternity, and all that. I always talk about social issues,
Oh
but
boy.
don't want to hold their sales account.
Oh boy.
Y'all, this dang
Man.
messing up, dude.
Is it keeps going. That's crazy. I can hear you now though.
Yeah, that mind, different mindset. Just
Yeah.
I mean, they're just so sad to me. I mean, these people, they don't have no relationship with God, really. They lukewarm. Then on top of that, they worship their skin color. They more black than they are Christian
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah, that's the problem. Is and I talk to people about this all the time. I mean, God is not Republican or Democrat. Like God is not uh he's not Green Party, he's not Constitution Party. Like he's not God is not a political figure. So above all this stuff, it is so important to have that relationship because if you don't, you can get dragged into this way more than you should be. Like I like to talk about it, I like to study it, but I know where my limit is because I know what's greater than this whole thing. So I think it's a real bad idea if you allow yourself to lose yourself off of political situations or arguments of race or stuff like that. I think that's silly. I feel for people who experience it, but I think that is real detrimental to somebody's life overall.
You know, and that's why I got white friends and I got different race background friends. But I don't want to sit there and make them feel bad. And of course, you know, in schools they try what they call that CRT. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's I definitely am like for like the teaching of what has happened in America, but at the same time it kind of goes back to the statement I made earlier where there's so many people who are prisoners of their past and not products of it. So if you teach uh the history of this country or you teach about race relations, but you do it from a perspective of black people are victims and white people are I guess the perpetrators of all of these issues that we experience, that is so problematic, but it's popular to do so. That's why they do it. So I don't like it at all, simply because I don't think the teaching behind it is genuine in the sense that I'm just trying to teach you the objective reality of what America has gone through and where America is now. I think so many people, because we are biased to because bad because we are biased to our political affiliations, that most people are inclined to talk about it in a way that demonizes white people and that makes black people out to be victims. I don't like that at all, especially when you're dealing with kids. Like these are kids, and most of these kids could care less about the race of the kid that's sitting next to them. But
Yeah.
if you put that in front of their face, I mean, what are you gonna expect? There's gonna be a bunch of kids who gonna grow up, then they're gonna go to college, and they're gonna go into gender studies, or they're gonna go into race like relations when it comes to their curriculum or whatever, and then they're gonna grow up and then they're gonna start thinking about all this stuff. They're gonna internalize it, and that's gonna become their life. And it's so easy to do it with kids because kids are very vulnerable. Is they're gonna follow the adult in the room. So if the adult in the room is telling them that white kids or white people in general bad, black people good, white people perpetrators, black people victims,
Mhm.
that's gonna internalize. And for these kids who are impressionable, you're screwing them up from the jump. I don't like that, and um, I'm not necessarily trying to regulate what gets taught in classes, but I definitely think that parents are pushed out, and then I think that what is being taught, there's not a lot of transparency when it comes to how that's going to affect these kids when they get older. I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then other thing before I let you go because other thing here. So school choice. What do you think of school choice?
I know that he's talked about it before in his desire to want to dissolve the Department of Education and incorporate a lot of like America first curriculum focused strategies to these schools and then giving children the opportunity to be where they want to be. Honestly, I mean, I know that there's a lot of fear mongering going on when it comes to what his policy direction is for education, I like it. And I'm not just saying that just because it's him or whatever. I definitely think that children are the most vulnerable, but they're also the next generation of who is going to run this country or who is going to work to certain jobs or go into certain careers or whatnot. If you are, as a educator or a school board or a state or a department who oversees education, if your desire is not to cultivate the learning process for these kids in the best way possible by teaching objective curriculum, by funding these schools, um, by pouring into the education of these kids, you're not only setting them up for failure, but you're screwing the country up as well. Because then once they get to the next level and everything's been messed up, I mean, I came from a school that was almost unaccredited because resources weren't being poured into it. That is so problematic. So his desire to kind of want to put this department on its head, I get that people might be fearful of it, and a lot of it is just headline reading and not knowing what's actually going on. I'm down for it. I'm down for it. If it's done in a way in which it can protect kids and students who actually want to go to school, it can provide them with funding, it can rehaul their curriculum, it can give them options on where they want to go, and it can pour resources into these institutions so that they have 2 feet to stand on. I'm all game for it. Flip it on his head, shake it up, do what you got to do to make sure that the next generation of kids, because I'm
Mm.
still there. I'm still going to school. I don't want my curriculum and my resources and my opportunities to be dictated by some, I don't know, politically rogue school board or administration or teacher or professor who's got some ulterior agenda
Mm.
besides teaching me how to be a productive member of society. So,
Yeah, and then the other thing, this Black Lives Matter thing. It was created in 2012 because of Trayvon Martin.
yep.
And at first I was with it, but I didn't know what they was doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm saying that I like the manner, but the organization was shady itself.
Mm-hmm.
Causing us to spend a lot of money and put in our motion, causing us to go out there and burn down buildings and all that, and black neighborhoods and all that. I'm like, what we doing that? They trying to wipe our emotions and all that. And then we see somebody say, like somebody from my church, they used to go to my church. I will never forget. They saying if a white person come up to me, I'm gonna go off on them. That's what they say. Cause we was
Lord.
watching this movie. I forgot the name of this movie. It was some black. The Hate You Get.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and then it was this black man got killed by got shot by the police officer, and they got mad by then. They was like, you know what? If a white person come, I'm definitely gonna go off. I'm like, their emotion. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
gosh, this is why. I'm like, come on now. And this is what Black Lives Matter is doing.
Yeah.
Picking on us emotion. Then the ladies, one of the founders, she's spending everybody's hard working money on houses
Such
and
a.
all that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what you
I carry
say?
you now.
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, I carry you. No, I feel you. I've never liked the organization. From the jump, I did not like it. And I wasn't super aware of what was going on, but just the sound of it did not feel, it didn't feel authentic or genuine to me from the jump. And then once I actually started looking into them, I want to say it was maybe Ted Cruz who said it. But he basically said that you cannot legislate love. So you can't make an organization where the basic premise of it is you want people to like you, because that's really what it is you want people to
Mm,
like you and to stop whatever. And I'm like, you can't fix that by donations. You can't do that. So their whole premise of donate to us, buy our merchandise or whatever, so we can, I guess, make everyone like you. They robbed this community of $100 million, and then the people who made it are most likely living in gated communities with white people. So I'm like, this is the craziest thing ever. But then I look at what their, I guess, their focus is, and it's on relations between white police officers and black people. So then I look at how many black people are killed by the police every single year. And it's unfortunate, period. But when you break it down, especially for unarmed black people, it's like 14 a year. And that's still bad. Every 14, one of those cases, my heart breaks any time that a life is taken. So I don't take it lightly. But based on how they talk about it, you'd think it was 50,000 a year, and that we're just getting just ran down by the cops. And then if you are in a situation with police and you're not complying with them, or you're being aggressive, or you decide to attack them, you're making your own bed. So the fact that people are making martyrs out of people who decide not to be compliant, I don't understand that. And then the last thing is that Black Lives Matter so much. Well, the issue of black people killing black people has been an issue for so long that nobody wants to address. And I saw somebody on a podcast not too long ago who said that it was like black on black crime is like made up to distract everyone from white people committing crimes against white people. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
right.
every community commits crimes against itself, but there's also not a white lives matter organization that's trying to address black officers attacking white people, or there's not an Asian lives matter uh, organization who's trying to address cops attacking Asian people. It's only us, and we're only doing it because we a lot of our community as a whole, we're insecure. So we want to project to the world, especially to white people, that our lives matter, and we want you to acknowledge that. It's going to be people who like you. It's going to be people who don't like you. There's
Yeah,
nothing you can do about that. You move
yeah.
on and you live life. As long as they're not physically harming you, there's nothing you can do about that.
Mm.
But at the same time, black people, when they kill black people, we don't say nothing about it. It don't make the
Man,
headline. It's just
we
in the
don't much.
exactly.
Because this is mainstream media, living me, fake news, CNN and MSNBC. They don't even say nothing about that.
Huh?
Especially what's going on in Chicago. They
Yeah.
don't want to address that. And then you have
But
some of these celebrities and all that talking and all that. Then especially these rappers, they just be saying stuff. I'm like, gosh, y'all need to just shut up and go rap or be a father to y'all kids.
exactly. Like, and the irony of it is that like the gas stations and the grocery stores that are being burned down are in these black
Mm,
neighborhoods. And these black
yeah,
neighborhoods, for the most part, are already struggling to stay afloat. So now you burn down the places in which you shop at and the places you go. So now you have to rely on the government even more. So you have to rely on them now for more money, more funding, more supplies, because you completely destroyed the place in which you live because they told you that your lives are under attack, and then in a different set of words that your life doesn't matter. And because we fell for it, then we decided to basically burn the entire world down. I don't know how that's I don't know how that's a win. I don't know how that is beneficial, because then when the dust settles and everyone goes home and then they wake up in the morning and they step outside and the gas station that they used to go to is burned down, so now they got to go
yeah,
10 minutes further away, or the store that they used to shop at has got looted and it's nothing left. And I'm like, you're not helping this at all, and you're being led to believe these faulty statistics
yeah,
that are influencing you to do these things. I'm not saying that police brutality is not a problem, but put it in perspective. Is everyone gets messed up by the police, and then the situations in which it does involve a black person, do not exonerate them just because they're black. If they were not being compliant, that is a problem, and that should not be celebrated or excused because they're black. That's not the case at all. So no, I I don't like
yeah.
that organization. I don't like any organization that's trying to uh convince people that if they donate to them, then everyone will start liking them because they robbed this community of $100 million, and we're in a worse position than we were 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for being on this episode of Real Talk with Shawn Smith.
I know. Yeah, I appreciate you for having me. I love having conversations like this. So
Yeah,
whenever
we
I get a chance, I'm always
definitely,
down.
yeah, we definitely should definitely keep in touch, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, anytime you want to have a conversation and talk about something, just let me know. Like I said, I'm always down for these talks. I think they're important to have, so I'm always down.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, where can people find you?
Right now, YouTube, TikTok. I've said it before that I started this just, I guess, just because it was just something that I enjoyed doing. But I think the more it kind of blows up or whatever, then we're going to expand it a little more. But YouTube, TikTok, it's real simple right now. But we're
No,
gonna go
so
ham with it. So
YouTube. Yeah, man. I think I had followed. Are you
real
on
think for
TikTok
yourself.
right now? Are you like acting on TikTok?
Yeah, yeah. It's real think for yourself. And um I believe the handle is the same on YouTube as well.
Oh, okay, then I think I have followed you. Whenever you get a chance, you can follow me back. So
Yeah, I got you. 100%.
yeah, Sean for real. I think yeah, it's Sean for real Smith.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
yeah, so we can definitely keep in touch. But I didn't know you stay in Texas though, man.
I got like I said, I'm thinking about school out here. I'm trying to do some big things in my life. So if all goes well, then I will be here. But we'll see. I'm keeping my options open. But it's some attractive schools out of Texas that I'm thinking about. So
But yeah. But okay then. Thank y'all so much for joining us on this episode of Real Talk with Sean Smith. Be sure to catch new episodes every Friday on YouTube and subscribe to Real Talk with Sean Smith's YouTube channel. That being said, y'all take care and see y'all next time, the next episode of Real Talk with Sean Smith. Bye, and y'all come back now.